So this is how you'll be presented. So when you're working with Tableau, so there are various ways to can connect to a data set. You can either connect to an Excel file, connect to a text file, sometimes called a CSV file. You can connect to a JSON file, which is for JavaScript, and Microsoft Access. This is advanced PDF. If your data set is in a PDF file, you can connect to its spatial file, then statistical file. These are so SPSS and Stata and some other statistical analysis and statistical files. So we have server. If you want to connect to database, you have MySQL database, you have SQL server, we have Oracle, and you have some other databases that you can connect to it. So you can even search for database that you want to connect to it. So we are working with Excel, and you can see these are the saved data set I was talking about. Saved data source. You have the superstore and we have the word indicators. So this is one we'll be using, superstore. I also give my previous students some class work on this pivot table. They created the pivot table on it, so I'm not going to be going through that. Then we open this, but which I've already done in this. So when you open it, you'll be presented with this basically. Then click on go to worksheets. Then be presented with this, and there are different types of blocks in this Tableau section. This is the dimension panes. It contains the data, let's say data sets that can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello.
Listen, wait, maybe let me use my phone.
Okay. Can you not see it?
Okay, seriously.
Ah.
I can see it, but your voice, I cannot really hear you. Just speaking because network over here is bad as you really.
Okay. Maybe you should try your phone
Maybe I should
because
just use my phone, maybe to be direct. I may not see it well, but at least let me hear it.
yeah, actually.
So let me use my phone.
Okay. I'll be expecting your like when you log in, when you connect with your phone, just let me know so I can continue. Okay, yeah. So can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, like without any interference or like
Yes,
breaking.
smooth. Yes, I can hear you well.
Okay. So the previous thing we were talking about is on data visualization. Like I said, Tableau is what we'll be using, and the previous thing we did was showing us how Tableau is going to be like when we download it at first, and different some data connections that we can make. By data connection, I mean different data types that we can use. We have Excel data type. We have databases that we can connect to like SQL, Oracle, Postgres, SQL, and we have some statistical data sets that we can connect with, which we have Stata, SPSS, and some others. So we are dealing with Excel, and like I said, we're working with superstore data sets. And once you connect to the data set, it's going to take us to this particular place. Then, which you can then click on this to sometimes called go to worksheet. Then presented with this. So now another thing we're going to be doing now is to demonstrate and explain different type of SPLC interface. Now this is the dimension page. Now what this dimension shows us is the different columns of our data sets that are string. By string I mean it can be alphabetical, like no alphabetical, that is contains letters, and yeah, contains letters. And by numeric I mean you have a categorical data set, which is a data set of different categories, like for example gender, which is male and female, like cities, different cities in the United States, for example. You have the customer name, which contains different customers, order ID. When we purchase a particular goods from, let's say, Jumia, for example, like I said, a primary key, when we're talking about SQL, each product are going to be attached a specific label into it, such that we can easily recognize each particular order. Like, for example, this order belongs to Dockers and not to Sunday, for example, and the data set is just purchased. So it doesn't contain only string data set, it contains the date data set as well. As you can see, each data set is represented by each icon. Don't know if you can see it, but there's an icon to the left of this category section ABC, indicating that it is a string data set containing letters. This city is indicating that it is a geometric data set. By geometric, I mean it is a location. Yeah, let's put it that way. City is a location, country is a location of a particular, country is a location. As you can see, this ABC is indicating that it is also a string data set. And you can see this calendar, like structure is indicating that it is a date. Well, moving on to the measures. Measures are actually the numbers. They are the numbers, yeah. So you can see the discount. This is the discount on each product. Profit is profits made on each particular product, the quantity of product sales, and this longitude and latitude are the generated data sets. Generated column for each and every one of these geometric data sets. Then we have the measure values and we have the measure names. Okay, now so moving on, the first visualization we are going to be doing is we want to look at the sales by category. So we'll click on add categories to the column. So as you can see, it shows the three different type of categories, and we add the okay, let's do profits first. Profits. Then by default, it's going to bring us a bar chart, which we can decide to change to an horizontal bar chart and an entire view. Then if you want to change it to a pie chart or a different type of chart, we will click on this show me section to change it. But there are different type of charts you can use. Like, there are different type of conditions that apply to using a specific chart. Like, for example, line chart is a chart that can be used when there's a time involved. As you can see, that's why it is blurred out, indicating that you cannot use them. So you can only use its map as is shown here. This is a tree map basically. This is an its map. You can also use text tables. You can also use bubble charts, a box plot, and a tree map, and a circle view. Why all these ones blurred out, indicating that you cannot use them. So the condition for histogram is basically on numbers, trying to in most cases check the distribution, how the sales and the profits, the pattern in which the sales and profit are actually following. Let's put it that way. Then and then we can also format our data. We can decide to change the color. We can decide to make it black, and then we can go to format, remove the borders, go to lines, and remove the grid lines, so that it is going to be like this. Then if you want to change the color of the worksheet, you can change the background of the worksheet, but I'll just leave it as white for the meantime. So white for the meantime, but let's leave it as, and you can leave it as a transparent by clicking on the none section. Then you can also change the text if you want to. You can change it to Times New Roman, depending on what your client specifies, but most cases I use semi-bold. Then name your sheet. In this case, I'm going to be naming it profits per category. then edit it. So if you want to like make it professional, the each worksheet header, the font size is always small. Let's say sometimes 8 to 9, and make it bold so it can actually be seen, because when dealing with visualization, you don't know your clients. Your clients might be having eye problem, and might not be able to see some colors or distinguish some colors from one another. And if you do not use the right colors, it's going to reflect on him, as he won't be able to see the right pattern or everything. Another thing I used to do is basically remove this header. Better still, let's do it this way. Go to this profit section and click on show header. Then I want to add labels so I can see. Then I will cancel this. Then another thing I used to do basically is I will make this into currency, because you're dealing with currency. So I'll go to default properties and click on number formats, and I'll click on currency. So you can either customize the currency. As you might have the pounds icon, I'll just put it there basically. So I'll use this. So the standard one is dollars basically, and the decimal of 2 decimal places. So I'll rename it here to I'll rename it here too as profit per category. Then I'll move to the next one. So the next one, I want to view the top 5 customers, right? So the top 5 customers. So specifically the top 5 the profits made on let's put it this way: customers with the highest profits, increasingly like customers with the highest profit generated. So I'm going to put customer name, or better still, let's put profits as the row, and put sales as well, and then I'll put customer name. Then I'll click on this. Then I'm going to go to my filter section and add customer name to the filter. Then I'll click on this top by field, and I don't want top 10, I want top 5 customers by then I will click on profit, and I'll click on apply, and I'll click on OK. Then I want an entire view. So these are my top 5 customers. So the respected customers of the company. So Adrian Barton. Okay, then another thing you can do is to sort it. So if you want to sort your visualizations, you can click on these 2 arrows. So this one is sort descending. As you can see, the highest bar is on top, and the arrow is pointing downward. And okay, yeah, and this one you can see that the smallest bar is on top, which is ascending. So I want to click on sort descending. So you can see that the highest the customer with the highest profits is Tamara Chand, and with a profit of $8,000 and a sales of $19,000 basically. So he spent more and we gained more on him. Then another thing we can do is we get the region with the, okay, now let's go to okay, is there state, yeah, states with the highest profit, and yeah, states with the highest profit, or let's put this a profit per state. Yeah, so we double click on our states colon, and it's going to create a map visualization. And note, this is only done if you have a network or a stable internet on your laptop. So because it kind of goes to the Tableau server and gets their, get an accurate longitude and latitude for each sales, sorry, for each location. Let's put it that way, because your location can be, you know, country, state, whatever it is. Then moving on, I will change this to a map. Then since we're working with the profit per state, the profit is going to add to my color, right? And then I'll click on color and I'll edit the color. Then I will want it to align with my colors that I've done in the previous one. So I'm going to click on black, and okay, so I'm going to make this latter one black, so from white to black, let's put it that way. This is going to be white, and I'm going to click on stripe colors, so apply, and okay. Then I'm going to also put my profit in my labels. So as you can see, there are some states that has a loss, like Colorado. So to be able to view the state as well, I'm also going to add the state to the label. Yeah, so that works. I believe you can see it. Is there any question you have so far?
I'm not seeing the screen again.
Are you sure it's not your network? Although I'm recording the video though, which is showing on my recorded screen. It's possibly your network. Yes, it's possibly your network. So we've gotten the top 5 customers, the purpose category.
I can't see anything. Network bad. Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. But I don't know. Just you can try to like manage, for the class is ending by 8 to do. But I've recorded some things like on my recording app, which I'm going to be sending to. I'm going to be sending it as well. So I don't know, but okay, you've disconnected. Fuck. Hello. Oh shit. Okay, so since we've done that, you can now check if there's a relationship between the, or better still, we can now filter by the products. So we can, you know, check for there's the project category, add product category to the filter section. So we apply and click on OK. Then we click on show filter. Then I want to make it a single value drop down, so I can select any particular state sales I want to select. So this is the basic introduction to Tableau. So I'll be sending the video online because you said your network is bad. So if you have any question, you can just reach out to me. So thank you very much for watching and your attention, and have a wonderful day ahead.